Hi guys, in this video I will open up about my most embarrassing violin performance experiences. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't have video material of them, but you'll sure hear some crazy stories that you can enjoy. And, you know, on the internet, people are always sharing their successes, and then it might sometimes seem like everything is always working out for everybody, except for me or something. So that's why I just want to share these funny stories with you. Now, the first one was at a funeral, and I was hired to play absolutely solo. So I was the only musician there, and I was about to play, I believe, the second partita by Bach and some other solo pieces that I had ready for the occasion. And I had to play outside, so this was a beautiful sunny day, and it was in this small little castle, sort of a reception. And I was wearing this black long dress, as you typically do on a lot of gigs. And so we were outside, and then while I was playing this Bach, slowly I felt something creeping up, first at my ankles, then all the way going up my leg, and I was wondering, I hope it's not a wasp. So the creature went higher and higher, and I was so distracted, and of course, I had to perform like alone, so I had to, do the poker face and try to play a little bit decently anyway, while this creature was going higher and higher and higher. And at some point I thought, I don't want this to go awfully wrong. So when the wasp was in the right place, I quickly squeezed my bottom in the hope to kill him. And after that, I didn't feel anything anymore. And, it took a long, long time before the break. And then I went to the toilet and, there I removed the dead wasp. And, so after the break, I went on playing again. So the challenges of playing outdoors. One of the reasons why classical musicians so hate to play outdoors. Now, the second occasion that was very embarrassing was that I was hired last minute, and often in TV programs you're hired very, very last minute. And this was in Big Brother type of program. It's a long time ago. So at the time, all those types of reality, or it's not much of a reality, but those programs were very popular. And in Holland we had a program, and that was called the Gouden Kooi, the Golden Cage. And then all these people were in a villa, and there was a romantic scene between two of the participants, or characters, or how you want to call it. And that would happen like late in the evening and outside in some kind of romantic garden setting. And then the idea was that I played a certain piece. And I would walk into the shot while playing that piece. But it was all very last minute, so I practiced the piece like that day, and I had also other things to do that day. I don't even remember what it was. Maybe I had a full day of teaching or something. And so I remember that there was like very little time to practice that piece. And so I had agreed with the production team that they would put down my sheet music stand as soon as possible, because I couldn't possibly play the whole piece by heart by then. So we agreed that I would play the first bit while I was walking towards them, which was sort of a challenge because I had nice shoes on, and it appeared to be so kind of a concert outfit. And it appeared to be like extremely muddy. So I was going through the mud with like high heels, which wasn't that comfortable, playing a piece I didn't know in the dark. And while I was approaching, and in the end I came to sort of stand I stood somewhere which would be the definite place where I was playing the rest of the piece. So I was playing while walking, and which is a challenge in itself. I'm not Lindsay Stirling that I can do all kinds of things while playing. Then I was anxiously waiting for the music stand. And I was, in terms of improvising, I'm like a typical classical musician that I can't improvise that much. And I'm certainly not comfortable with it because I don't do it much, certainly not in a performance setting. And certainly not on national TV live. I was playing and playing. I thought this is going to take a long while, and I was taking loops in the piece and stuff. And so the sheet music stand never arrived. People forgot or just didn't care or whatever. So I don't know how I played. But for my own feeling, I played very, very, very badly because I was sinking away in the mud and I didn't know the piece and the sheet music never came. So that was my first experience on national TV. The third embarrassing performance was on a boat, and it's also, all these things are such a long time ago. And I believe I was still a student back then, which isn't an excuse. And I had at the time a string trio with 2 other girls. And so with another violinist and a cellist. So string quartet without a viola. And we had studied some pieces, and at the time the other violinist was going through a hard time mentally. Or emotionally, and so she wasn't that reliable in appointments. And so we arrived at the scene and we played a little bit, and then it came to our performance and people started coming in and stuff. And then she suddenly said that she couldn't do it, and she went home. But we had rehearsed. And we brought sheet music for string trio performances. And this boat was really scary because I felt not really claustrophobic, but it felt like really, like all the people that were there it wasn't the Titanic or something. So it didn't sink, that was the advantage. But it wasn't big. So there was this room, and then, so it was kind of a boat that was a cultural place. And people were like really close together, and I hate it when I'm performing and everything is like close together and you feel like the first row of people are like in your face or something. I'd rather have some distance. I'm most comfortable when like the lights are dimmed and you don't really see the audience, so you can kind of pretend they're not there. And I was having enormous performance anxiety at the time, and you might know my performance anxiety story. So it was kind of at its height at that moment, and definitely this boat thing, really made it worse. So we performed, and we were sorting out what we could play of the music that we brought, but without the second violin. I believe in some pieces I played first violin, and other pieces she played second violin, so we kind of switched it back and forth. So I had to play suddenly parts that, for example, the pieces where I was the second violin didn't have much of the melody. I suddenly had on the spot to play the first violin part, for example, that I never saw, never practiced. And the other way around, and we were kind of improvising who would play what to still make those pieces sound. And obviously it wasn't my best performance, so to say. So those were my 3 most horrible, embarrassing performance stories. And, I think it's important here on the internet to sometimes just get real and to show that not every performance goes all right, because sometimes you see people on stage and it's like you have them on this pedestal or something, literally, and it seems like nothing can go wrong for them, while even the greatest players sometimes mess up, and I certainly do. being not one of the greatest players. So maybe we could share in the comments, maybe you could share some, maybe a fun performance experience, but if you dare, then definitely also share your performances that were either crazy or embarrassing, or if you have a nice anecdote of something weird happening, that kind of stuff, then make sure to share it below so that people can really relate to stories like this. And that would be really fun to just share with each other, or maybe a performance situation in which you actually learned a lot or something. That could also be a thing, that it might not be like really embarrassing, but that it also wasn't like a shining example, but that at least you had some big takeaways, just to end it on a positive note. So share below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And make sure, if you like these stories, that you like this video and that you subscribe to my channel, so you can also see my coming violin lessons. There are almost 1,000 videos out there already on this channel. Now, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in one of my next videos. Bye bye.